Hello, my name's Kevin Partner from Making Your Own Candles, and welcome to the lab, where we've been working out how to make these little beauties. These are what we're calling globe candles. They burn for about 35 hours. You can make them with paraffin wax, as this one is, or with eco soya, as this one is. And as long as you follow the technique that we've established, you can make these consistently without any problems whatsoever. So let's get started. Right, to make one of these lovely candles, you need the mould, some wick, 200 grams of paraffin or eco soya wax, 2.5 grams of dye in there for a reasonable medium level colour, 10 mils of scent if you're going to use it. I'm not in this case. Some wick, some sealing tape, a wick pin and some blue tack. Let's begin by making a knot, an open knot in the one end of the wick, which we're going to put around one of the feet of the mould, which is how we're going to anchor the top and bottom halves together. So pull it through, snap the two halves together, go. Take the wick pin, blob of blue tack, and you need to pull this quite tight. You want it almost as tight as you dare, because this is what is the main way of keeping this mould together. Because wax will escape if it possibly can in any mould, and particularly a two-part one. Okay. Nice and secure. We're now going to just wrap some tape around it, around the seal, just to be absolutely sure that we get no wax escape. So we just put it on the edge, then run it around the seam. Try and make that a bit neater. And we're going to go around twice. There's the join there. There we go. I'm just going to smooth it around the edges just to make sure that that's sealed off nicely. There we go. Now finally we need to take quite a large blob of blue tack and seal the bottom. Again, the wax will do anything it possibly can to escape, so you have to keep it in its place. There we go, that's about it. And there we have it. That's the complete mould assembly, ready for pouring. Now one thing you must do is put your mould inside something that can catch any spillage. Once it's poured in, this can all go in the fridge, and that will speed up the cooling process. So that's now ready. I've heated my wax up in my double boiler. Just do your best not to get any on the outside. Otherwise it'll be hard to tell whether you've got a leak from the inside or running around the outside. Where are we now? I haven't done a very good job myself. There we go. Just going to wipe off the extra wax from the outside while it's still wet. And there we are. The seal seems to be pretty good. Sometimes it takes a few minutes before the wax starts to escape. So my recommendation is to keep it out for perhaps 5 minutes. Make sure nothing is escaping, and then you can pop it in the fridge to cool more quickly. Right, so I've removed the tape from around the outside. I'm going to take off the glue tack from the bottom. Now then, if this doesn't come out relatively easy, then you know that you haven't left it for long enough. We need to give it a bit of a squeeze. You can feel it beginning to move. It's a bit awkward, to be honest, but as I said, it gets easier if you if it's had long enough, and perhaps you can, if you're really having problems, then just pop it in the fridge or the freezer for a few minutes. Don't leave it in the freezer too long, you might find the wax cracks. There we go. There we go. There we are. That's lovely. And the bottom will always come off nice and easily. Now you'll notice we've got a bit of a seam. Not too bad, but you can just use a knife just to knock that back. And after that, it's just really a case of just get some kitchen towel. Give it a nice polish. Obviously, the longer you spend on this, the shinier it'll be. But you can see I've only gone round a couple of times there. It's already pretty shiny. There we go. Just need to cut the wick to about 1.5 centimetres. Now don't cut the hole. This is obviously the top. And this is the bottom of the candle. But don't cut the whole of that off. It's tempting to cut it right through, but just leave a little bit on the bottom if you can. Just tuck it underneath. What that'll do is, one of the problems with these candles is that the size of the wick is appropriate for the width, the maximum width. But that maximum width only starts kicking in around here. What that means is that by the time the wick gets down to this sort of level, there's very little of it left to melt the side. So to get the maximum burning time, just leave a little bit at the bottom there to give it a bit of extra time. But I'm really pleased with that. It's nice. As I said, should burn for about 30 to 35 hours, depending on the conditions it's being burned in. And there we have it. Lovely little globe candle.